Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about something that is a fairly new release, at least I think it is. And when I look on their website, I can see that it still has the little badge that says new arrival. This release, collection, however you want to call it, only crossed my radar maybe 2 days ago. And I ordered it on Sephora, I think yesterday, which was Monday, and it told me it wasn't going to be here until like next Monday on the 30th, and it showed up at my doorstep this morning, so it was super, super quick shipping. And if you're here, you can already tell by the title that we are talking about the Huda Beauty Wild collection. So in this collection, they released 4 different palettes. Now, obviously, I don't have all 4 here. Reason being that only 3 of them were available on Sephora. So the one that I actually didn't pick up is this one here. This is the Wild Tiger palette. It is really, really beautiful. It's probably the most wearable of all of them. But in my mind, it kind of looks like a bit of a combination of the Huda Beauty Obsessions Haze or Haze Obsessions Sand palette, the Gold Obsessions palette, and a little bit of the Toffee palette, whereas these 3 that I did get, I find are a little bit more unique, a little bit more fun, so I was okay with the fact that I didn't get them. I normally don't review like Huda Beauty palettes, like the small ones. I have a lot of them, but I don't really talk about them very often. But because we're pretty close to when these released, I thought that it actually may be beneficial for you guys for me to show you and swatch them and then maybe play around with one of them or a combination of a couple of them just to see what the quality's like, and hopefully that will help you guys decide if you want to purchase them. So on Sephora, they are $39 a piece, which is not cheap. So the 3 that they came out with were the Wild Python. So this is what the outside looks like. It has kind of one of those like shifting, almost like holographic background. So it does have, you know, just the green and then a bit of the snake skin. So the Wild Python looks like this. It is really fun. A lot of pops of green in there, but you still get some of these beautiful neutrals. And I'm going to get really close here so you can see that every palette has at least one shadow that kind of has this almost snake skin texture, which is interesting because I think this is the one that I would expect that the most in, but I'm pretty sure they all do. This next one is the Wild Jaguar. So again, it's got sort of that holographic kind of front, so you can see some of the little jaguar spots in the background. This one was my favorite. It seems the most wearable to me. I'm really, really a big fan. It's kind of more cool tones. It has nice black in the top to do something really smoky, but it has a lot of those fun like purples as well. And like I said, that color in the middle again has that like almost snakeskin imprint to it. So there's that one. And the last one that we have is the Wild Chameleon. This one has, I'm sure it's meant to look like a chameleon, but in my mind it almost looks like a little bit feathered, which is kind of weird. And also when I think of chameleons, and this is silly, but when I think of them, I guess I think of like green lizards, which is weird because chameleons do change color, obviously. That's like the whole point. This is what this one looks like. Definitely more of that like orangey red kind of looks. Has a really fun pop of a purple. Has one of their marbled shadows in it, which I didn't notice in either of the other ones, although I could take a really quick look and double check since they're sitting right in front of me. Okay, so this one looks like it has like a spotted one. It's not really marbled, but it does have some like flecks of another color in it. And yeah, this one definitely has no marbling in it. But yeah, so these are the 3 palettes. Oh my goodness. Nope, did not already stick my finger into it, that I recently picked up. So we are going to swatch them all, and then we are going to play with, like I said, either one or a combination of all 3. I haven't really decided yet, but we're just gonna have some fun because I feel like it has been a hot minute since I've just sat down and had some fun with makeup. Alrighty, so I think that the first one we're gonna swatch is gonna be the one that I'm the most interested in, the one I can see myself wearing the most often, so that is the Wild Jaguar. So once again, this is, I can't even get it open now, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to be swatching them on my fingers and kind of showing you right to the camera. Also, we'll be swatching down my arms. Please excuse the bruises. I don't know where they came from. Hopefully they don't interfere with the swatches too much. So these don't have color names, so we're just gonna kind of go top row, middle row, bottom row. I just think that's the best way. Huda Beauty shimmers always feel so good. The mattes are always so soft. So these are the first 3 colors. So you get kind of like this beautiful gold, like a dusty purple, gray, grayish sort of a tone. And then this one here is almost like a gray, purple, silver. Really, really pretty colors. Very, very wearable colors, also important in my mind. And they're going on pretty nicely, kind of how I expected them to. Like I said, Huda Beauty has gotten pretty good with these palettes. I mean, I think that they are probably the thing that they're most well known for, I would guess, are these little 9-pan Obsessions palettes, because they've been there for so long. They had like the Jewel Obsessions, they had the Neon Obsessions, all sorts of different ones. So now we're going to do the second row. So again, we have another matte. This is that strange textured one. Oh, okay. So it's like a glitter, like it's not soft. It's almost just like chalky, like a glitter. So you get this kind of like reddish brown tone, this beautiful purple reflective glitter. And then this almost like kind of has a green reflect to it. Really, really pretty as well. So far, I'm really enjoying the colors that are here. Now, there's not even a ton of fallout from that glitter, which is kind of nice because normally that is what you expect when you get into a glittery kind of eyeshadow. You expect it to literally be all over your face by the time you're done. Last row, so we've got a couple more mattes, so a really soft, pale kind of cream color. That black, which is the chalkiest matte I have felt in this palette so far. And then another kind of a shimmer. So those are the bottom 3. Not really a huge fan of this color. I think they could have done a little better with maybe a deeper kind of a brown sort of a tone. Not necessarily super deep, but maybe a little darker than that. The black is actually not too bad. You can sort of tell the quality of how a shadow palette is going to be as a whole if you can see kind of like how that brand does a black shadow. So that is the first palette. This is the Jaguar palette right here. Pretty good. I don't know. I'm kind of a fan. Next, let's get into the Chameleon palette. I'm going to try and do this one on this side, and then we're going to swatch the other one here. That way I can kind of like have them all next to each other. I mean, not all at once, obviously, but so you guys can see the variations of the palettes and the colors. So again, this is what the Chameleon one looks like. So we're going to just do the same thing we did before. So the first 2 are matte, and the next one is one of those like marbled shades. I don't really know the point of the marbling. Just to look cool, I guess. So you get this kind of like deep orange, a really pretty like purpley red kind of color, and then also this red sort of a shimmer that's really, really pretty. So like I said, I think I'm gonna put them here. Is that a good spot? Can you guys see them if they're there? That orange is absolutely beautiful. This is not the normal place I swatch, which is why like I'm kind of like sniffing my own hand, trying to make sure, because every time I swatch on the underside of my arm, I swatch it so I can see the underside, which means that when I turn it, you guys can't see it. So it's kind of useless. This one, I believe, also has a few more matte shades than the Jaguar one did. The Jaguar had 4 mattes. This one actually has 5 mattes, so that might be something else to consider depending on what kind of a texture you normally like to go with. So this is the second row. So again, we've got like a deeper, almost like chocolatey brown, kind of like a peachy honey sort of orange, and then this really vibrant shimmer as well. So again, making sure you guys can see them. There we go. I've probably got eyeshadow on my nose now from sticking it in the other palette. This one's obviously not going to be as straight because it's not my normal place that I like to swatch. But we're trying our best here. Like I said, it's been a while since I have done a video like this. And these are the last 3 shades. That purple is absolutely stunning. I'm obsessed with that purple. I think it's gorgeous. I think I definitely want to play with it today. This gold too, really, really gorgeous. And the orange is nice too. It's kind of like a kind of a coral sort of a tone. Can you guys see if it's here? Okay. So purple, coral, gold. So that is the Chameleon palette. Like I said, a lot more fun, different colors, a lot more reds in there. So if you're not into sort of those orangey reddish tones, this might not be the palette for you. I normally am not, but there's enough like fun purples and light colors in here that I'm super excited to try it. So that is that palette. And now we'll get into the last one, the Python palette. This one is kind of like the most different, the most fun looking, in my opinion. This one again has 5 mattes and then 3 shimmers and then that interesting kind of glitter texture. So I gotta remember I'm doing this on the other arm. So swatch with the other hand. So these are the 3 glitters across the top. I'm really into that like lime green in the middle. The gold is kind of okay, I think, compared to maybe the gold in the Chameleon palette. It's nothing particularly special, but it is still really, really nice. Kind of has an interesting reflect to it, almost a pearlescence. All 3 of them sort of do. They definitely have some like glitter in them. So that is the top row. Next, we're going to get into 2 mattes and also that like textured glitter shadow. So we've got like a teal, that teal kind of glitter, and then a chocolate brown, really pretty. I did not do a great job swatching the other ones, so I'll try and pick my game up here. Looks like that. And we just have 3 more colors to go. And this is the color I'm the most excited and the most nervous to see how it goes. It's this super, super bright, vibrant green in the bottom corner. I find that you can either like hit major highs or major lows with those kind of a neon shade, if you know what I mean. So these are the 3 here. This color is quite similar in the middle to the one that was just in the Chameleon palette. This is sort of the shade I was talking about for the Jaguar palette, a little bit deeper of a brown while still carrying like not too chocolatey of a brown. And that lime green's okay. It's nothing amazing. I might mix and match some of those colors. So that is the Wild Python palette. So these are all 3 of our palettes. Really fun, really excited, pretty good quality. So let's get straight into some kind of a look. As per usual, I already have my MAC Pro Longwear Painterly Paint Pot eyeshadow base. It is my absolute favorite eyeshadow base. It never fails me. I've never had an issue with it with any shadow, which is one of the reasons I like to continuously use it, particularly on my channel and especially when I'm trying out new products, because if it fails, like if the eyeshadow look isn't good or it's patchy or it's, you know, really hard to build up, it is normally the fault of the shadow itself and less so the fault of the eye base, because this eye base works for basically everything. Like I've never had it fail me yet. And I find it pretty inexpensive and it lasts a really long time. Just in case you are curious or thinking about buying it, they have multiple different colors. This was supposed to be a Huda Beauty kind of video and I'm now plugging MAC like crazy. They have a ton of different colors for all different skin tones. So if your skin pulls a little more pink or a little more yellow or a little peachy or neutral, whatever, or if you're darker skin, they have tons and tons and tons of them, and some of them even have shimmer in them. Just take a look at the website. I don't know where to start. Let's start with that very, very light cream color in the bottom corner of the Jaguar palette. I'm just using that to kind of start laying a base that is the lightest color across all 3 palettes. I'm going to zoom you guys in a smidgen bit here just so you can kind of see what I'm actually doing. So I'm not seeing much from that, but again, it's a very, very light color. It's kind of similar to my skin tone, so I wasn't really expecting to see a ton from it. Normally what I would do here is I would start building up all kinds of like browns and oranges and stuff, and I know I want to play with that really bright purple, and I also kind of want to play with one of the neon greens. Maybe a little bit of the black as well. So I'm just trying to think of where to go. I think the next color we're going to use is going to be from the Python palette. That's going to be that like kind of orangey sort of a brown in the bottom corner. And I'm just using that to start to build sort of some depth in the crease. I do plan on kind of building up this crease with some more color. But this will at least give me a nice neutral starting point that we can sort of turn anywhere from. Also keep in mind, like whatever look I end up with today is not necessarily something that I would wear all the time. It's not going to be everyday makeup, but I am just sitting here filming for you guys. I'm not going anywhere tonight, and we are just playing around with the palette, and I kind of want to give every palette its own shot to see how good they are. Next, let's go into that kind of like grayish kind of color. It's like a gray, beige, purple kind of color from the Jaguar palette, and I'm going to use that to also... That's really pretty. Okay, that's my favorite color so far. Really, really pretty, nice, kind of has a little hint of purple in it, but still super duper neutral, really pigmented. I didn't intend on going all the way from inner crease to outer crease, but we're here now, so let's just make it match. A little bit seems to go a long way for this if you just put it on and then blend, 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 blend. You get a pretty even, seamless sort of a look, which is awesome. Now what? You know what? Let's get into some of like the teal from the Python palette. I don't want this to end up just being like a smoky eye or something boring at all. Where, oh where? There it is my other like little brush. So I'm going to take some of that teal and I'm going to, wowza, that is also really, really pigmented. So I'm going to take a clean fluffy brush because I hadn't intended on it being quite so bold. And I'm just going to blend it out. It blended out really quick, really easily into like nothing. And I'm kind of liking the combination of that like purpley sort of color with a little bit of like that blue tone to it. It just almost gives a little bit more interest. Like you wouldn't necessarily know it's a super teal unless you were really looking for it, but I kind of like the almost like ombre effect that it gives. Let's get into one of these darker brown colors. I think we're gonna go with the one from the Chameleon palette just because I haven't gotten really into that palette yet. So it's like this purplish brown. I'm gonna kind of use that in the outer crease. I'm not going to bring that too far in, just like that, and we'll do the same obviously for this eye. That might have been a smart idea, is to do two different eyes, but I don't know, I'm not a big fan of doing that, and I do plan on filming another video today, so that might look kind of weird. A big thing I want to do is I do want to take some of that black and put it kind of right on my outer corner, because I want to see how it's going to look. I want to see what kind of a black it is, how black it is. Does it blend out into a gray? Does it keep its black to it? So that is from the Jaguar palette. So far we've used 3 colors from the Jaguar palette, 2 colors from the Python palette, and 1 color from the Chameleon palette, but we are going to get into more, so hopefully it'll kind of even out. So I just sort of traced that in almost the same line that I did the brown, just a little skinnier. And I am going to be blending it out in a second. I'm just using a pencil brush to do it. So it is quite dark. It looks very dark. I'm just going to see kind of... So it blends nicely in a sense that it becomes like more uniform and more subtle as a transition, but it does keep a lot of that deep dark black, which I am a big fan of. That is really good. Okay, here's where this is going to get a little tricky, is trying to decide what kind of like colors I want as toppers, because I am a big fan of that purple, but I don't know if it really goes with the look I have going, but I think we're going to just go for it. So from the Chameleon palette, I'm going to take that super bright fun purple and sort of put it across my lid. What do we think? It's a lot, but it's not bad. It doesn't look too bad, and I mean, like I said, this is not necessarily a look I would be wearing out and about every single day, although I do love this purple. I think it's beautiful. Now, I did just take a tiny, tiny little amount of this. There's not a ton on my eyes. You could definitely make it pop more or less, depending on what you were looking for. For the inner corner, I think the best way to go is with this super light gold glitter from the Python palette. I just think that it's the lightest shade that I've got here, and I don't want to get too dark. So I'm going to put that right in my inner corner and then tap it up my lid a little bit, just so it kind of meets the purple, just like that. And now I'm going to take a smudger brush, and I'm going to try and use the neon green to go under my eye. But we're going to see how that goes. Pretty well, actually. Here, I'm going to get you guys real close because this is detailed work. I want you guys to see the color. Again, I think that this would be a really pretty color to pop under there if you were doing like a really nice neutral look and just looking for a pop of color. I mean, this look in itself is a little bit crazy, a little bit not cohesive, but still fun. still pretty good. So I think we're gonna call that done. I'm gonna go pop on some eyeliner, some mascara. Also, I need to put lipstick on because I forgot. Come back, we'll wrap this video up. Alrighty, so that is it for playing with this video. So for finishing up my eyes, I went with a black eyeliner. I just used my Too Faced Better Than Sex felt tip liner, just a black mascara. I did a pretty thick eyeline just because I thought it suited the look. I actually don't mind the look. I think it's very wearable. I think you lose some of the blending that we did initially with some of the glitters, but that's not a bad thing. Overall, my thoughts on these palettes is similar to my thoughts on most of Huda Beauty palettes. Is the quality there? Honestly, I do think it is. I think that they're a lot of fun. They're really good for like travel size palettes if that's something you're looking for. They're very sturdily made. I think in terms of these particular palettes, I think that this one is very wearable for most people. I think that these ones is going to kind of depend on your personal preference. Do you like those more fun colors, or are you looking for something a little bit more generic and everyday? But if you are to get them, I do find that the shadow quality is good. Even that neon out of this one, which normally is a struggle for a lot of companies, and I know that the last time when I did have a Huda Beauty neon palette, I didn't like the way that their neon showed up, and I do prefer it here. Just something to be aware of. They're not inexpensive, but you could always wait for a sale, because I do find that the Obsessions palettes do stick around for a really, really, really long time. So hopefully this helped you guys out, helped you pick out which one you want, if you want any of them. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me today and playing with my makeup, because we haven't done it in forever. So if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Comment down below which palette is your favorite, or do you like maybe the Tiger palette, or is another Obsessions palette your favorite? I know you can still get a lot of them on Huda Beauty's website, and a lot of them are still available at Sephora as well, if that's something that you guys are looking for and interested in. And if you're not already and you would like to be, then subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.